You won't believe what's in this box. All right, we've heard about it, we've talked about it, now let's finally check out and get some hands-on with the Republic of Gamers handheld, the Ally. Now I've got to admit, when I first heard about this device, I thought it was another cloud gaming device. Not that that's a bad thing, it's great to have different competition out there, but this is way more than that. And sure, when you're connected to Wi-Fi, you could stream a game on here, but why would you? This is a full Windows 11 home device. Yeah, this is a full computer. You've got the Xbox app on here, so you can download games that are in the PC gaming catalog, as well as games that are part of PC Game Pass. In fact, you get 3 months for free, and as well as being able to use any kind of other third-party launcher from Epic, Steam, GOG, even EA. But there's so much more. So let's first start off and talk about the actual hardware. So of course, it looks like your standard handheld. You've got your beautiful 7-inch touchscreen display, which actually features the AMD FreeSync. So if you're utilizing a game that upscales and takes advantage of AMD FreeSync, this will support that. And while the display isn't like 2K or 4K, it is 1080p, this refresh rate is 120 Hertz. That's crazy. For a gaming handheld console, that is phenomenal. And as you know, frame rate is everything to a gamer. On the left side here, you got your analog stick with this beautiful LED halo around it. You've also got your D-pad and speakers. Then you have these other buttons here which turn off game mode. You can change the gaming profiles. You can even turn the operating mode from turbo to performance, and that's all dependent on battery life and, you know, the fans, depending on what kind of game that you're playing. Oh, battery saver just went on for silent mode. And on the right here, you've got some other buttons that you can map out, but of course you've got your ABXY buttons, very similar to that of an Xbox controller. So Xbox users, or at least controller users, will feel right at home placing your thumbs, placing your fingers right where you expect them to be. And once again, you've got this beautiful LED halo. I'm sure in the settings, if you want to change the color, you have that ability. All RGB can be fuddled and changed around if you want. But again, there's more. On the front here, you've got your bumpers, you've got your triggers, you even have these extra paddles on the back here, so you can map out the paddles to whichever game. So if you wanted to have paddle shifting in a game like Forza Horizon 5, for example, or if you want this to be, I don't know, like your reload button in Halo or some other game, so you don't have to take your finger off of the thumbstick, you could do that. And on the top side here, this is kind of where the magic happens, okay? So yes, you've got your 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. This still supports 3.5 millimeter headphones, which is great. You can expand the memory with a memory card slot, a micro SD memory card slot. I'm gonna skip over this. You have your volume rocker and some LED lights and your power switch. But this guy, what is this? This is amazing. This allows you to connect to an external GPU. So while internally, this actually has an AMD Radeon graphics card, specifically the AMD RDNA 3 with 12 CUs and supports up to 2.7 gigahertz and up to 8.6 teraflops, which is phenomenal. But again, if you're playing that game where there's so much detail to really immerse yourself and you still want to use this, if you happen to have an external GPU that is connected in to this port, this will support that. I get that that's a very niche market. I mean, this alone is somewhat of a niche market, but the fact that they give you that capability is tremendous. And while we're talking about the GPU, let's also talk about some of the other internals of the Republic of Gamers Ally. So there are actually two models of this unit. The one that we have here is the more extreme of the two models. I mean, the actual CPU is the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, whereas the alternative model is the AMD Z1 processor. So the Extreme processor is, you know, extreme. And beyond that, it really just comes down to how many cores are in either processor. The Extreme has 8 cores with 16 threads, whereas the standard has 6 cores with 12 threads. So again, depending on you, what your use case is, what kind of games you prefer to play, one might be better than the other for you. Touch points on this touchscreen are extremely accurate. When you want to use the keyboard, the standard Windows 11 touchscreen keyboard will appear and you can swipe if you prefer. And because it's a touchscreen, it does take advantage of the native Windows 11 gestures. So for example, right now, we are in what's called game mode. And so if we wanted to, we can just swipe up and the taskbar will appear there. You have built in all of the standard Windows 11 applications that you can use at your beck and call. Now, in addition to that, this does support Bluetooth. You can connect via USB Type-C external accessories. So if you wanted to, you could Bluetooth a mouse to here, you could Bluetooth a keyboard to here. I'm not saying you would, but if this is your last resort to get your PowerPoint presentation finished on, you could. But then beyond that, when it comes to gameplay, this plays like a Windows 11 gaming computer. That's it. That's literally all that needs to be said. If you're looking for a Windows 11 gaming computer that you can fit into your pocket, you have the whole gaming world at your fingertips, virtually download any game that you could ever want, including the hundreds of titles that are available through PC Game Pass and from our first-party studios like Bethesda. This can handle all of it. Both Ally models offer 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5 RAM and 512 gigabytes of NVMe M.2 storage. This solves a lot of the questions about, well, what do I do when I don't have a Wi-Fi connection, but I can usually at home at least play games that don't require me to be online all the time. Well, here you go. No streaming required. You can download the games directly, play to your heart's content, just as long as the battery doesn't run out. And if it does run out, I mean, that's what the battery charger is for. That's I dropped it down there earlier. But beyond that, I mean, just the look and feel of it, what's really nice is they didn't make it too heavy. I know for some folks, when you look at a piece of equipment, you want it to be, I don't know, especially for gamers, you want it to be like futuristic or really modern looking. And they do have that with these extreme angles and everything, but it is plastic, but it is like high-end plastic. If they made it metal, it would be very, you know, it would be very heavy. And the idea is like you're gonna wanna hold on to this and play for a long time. So if they made it metal, it would kind of counterintuitive, you know, counteract that want to continue playing. And I just love the way that everything looks, the way that it feels, and the fact that it's full Windows. Like I know Windows. I know what I'm doing. I know which apps that I can download, and ironically, like I said before, instead I could be playing a game or I could be, you know, working on my spreadsheets. I mean, you'll never know. You know, if I hold it this way, you'll never know. So the Republic of Gamers Ally is available now, and if you want to take a look at it more closely, we'll go ahead and put a link in the description down below so you can take a look at your favorite online retailer or in-person retailer. And if you have any questions that we might be able to answer, please leave that in the comment section down below. And if you want to check us out on other social media platforms like Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and we stream live here on YouTube as well too. But moreover, if you yourself are a retail pro and you sell Microsoft products and services in your store and you want to learn more about it, go ahead and check out expertzone.microsoft.com. So until the next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Later.